Diego Lopes is going to knock out Alexander Volkanovski. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Fight Franchise and my preview and prediction of the main event of UFC 314, where Alex Volkanovski is taking on Diego Lopes in what is a bout for vacant gold, as Ilia Topuria has vacated the title to go up to 155 and chase undisputed gold and Islam Makhachev up there. This has caused a bit of chaos and ruckus, where now Alex Volkanovski, who was supposed to be taking on Ilia Topuria in his rematch after he got knocked out last year, is now taking on Diego Lopes for the undisputed gold in what is a competitive matchup. I've given a kind of in-depth breakdown on where both guys can have success in my keys to victory in my last video. This is my kind of full prediction, and as the start, you probably know where it's going to go. I may change it, who knows. But let's kind of break it down, give you the tale of the tape, both guys' career, and how I think this fight is going to go. So, tale of the tape, Alex Volkanovski, one of the best fighters in recent MMA history. What a legend. 26 wins, 4 losses. Diego Lopes, 26 wins, 6 losses. Alex Volkanovski, 5'6", Diego Lopes, 5'11". Reach, 1.5 inch reach for Alex Volkanovski, 72.5 inch reach for Diego Lopes, 36 inch leg reach for Alex Volkanovski, 41 inch leg reach for Diego Lopes. Diego Lopes, much bigger, much taller, rangier. Volk does have, for his size, very, very long arms. That's why his jab is impeccable. That's why he could do a number on Max Holloway for so many years. Max Holloway was one of the taller, slender, longer featherweights, but man, Alex Volkanovski could do a job on him with that reach, and he stung him with the jab and the straight punches, and he done brilliantly. Diego Lopes, when you see him in that octagon, he is huge. He's, I think, frame-wise, maybe he's slender, so he's thinner, but he's 5'11". He's just taller than Islam Makhachev, who's Alex Volkanovski's recent opponent over the last few years. So yeah, very, very fun, interesting matchup we're going to have here. Let's kind of break down Volkanovski's career, and then we'll go into Diego Lopes, and I'll give you my prediction. Volkanovski joins the UFC in 2016 and puts on one of the best win streaks in UFC history, where he goes around beating the best of the best in his division. You know, slowly works his way up the division. Darren Elkins, Chad Mendes, Jose Aldo, beats Max Holloway for the title, defends the title against Max Holloway, defends the title against Brian Ortega, defends the title against Korean Zombie, Chang Sung Jung, and then he beats Max Holloway again, where he defends his title. And he, at that point of his life, was the best featherweight of all time, you know, strung together a bunch of wins like no man other. And it seemed like at that time there was no fit contender to fight him. And then in 2023, he goes, okay, I'm going to face Islam Makhachev for undisputed gold and going for double champ. They have a legendary bout. One of the best MMA fights I've ever seen, and one of my favourite of all time. And they go to war with one another, where Islam Makhachev wins a very close competitive decision. A lot of people at the end of that fight was like, oh, Alex Volkanovski should have won. Alex Volkanovski should have won. Was in Australia, was in Volk's backyard, and it was a competitive bout and a war of the ages. Then in the couple of months after that, International Fight Week, he takes on Yair Rodriguez, who was interim champ on that same card at UFC 284 where he fought Islam. And he schools kind of Yair Rodriguez, uses wrestling, uses striking, clips Rodriguez in the striking, and they have a back and forth, and he takes down Rodriguez and, you know, smothers him, batters him on the ground. A couple of months after that, Islam Makhachev was meant to face Charles Oliveira in a rematch in Abu Dhabi. Charles pulls out in about 2.5 weeks' notice, and Alex Volkanovski takes the courageous decision to step in. I think Volk, I hope he made $4 million to make that fight, or $4 million plus, because it was a huge gamble for him. Took the weight cut on short notice, took the fight on short notice, didn't look in the best shape, you know, because he probably wasn't as lean, kind of jumped off the couch for that bout, gets head kicked and gets TKO'd by Islam Makhachev in what was yes, the Islam loss he had before was a close competitive loss. This was a definitive stamp and loss on his career, but it was on short notice. 4 months after this, takes on Ilia Topuria, and Ilia Topuria and him have a back and forth bout where Ilia Topuria showed why he is one of the best fighters in the world at the minute. sleeps Alex Volkanovski in the second round after a flurry of punches backing up against the octagon fence, where he KO'd brutally Alex Volkanovski, where we're now looking at Alex Volkanovski. 2-3 years prior, he was the pound for pound best fighter in the world. After Usman lost his to a head kick, he was the best pound for pound fighter in the world, was Alex Volkanovski. Since then, it's not been the same. You know, he's dipped in the pound for pound rankings. In his last 4, he's got 3 losses. But he is fighting the elite of the elite, but has the age, has the miles, has the lifestyle, has the money, has it all just now got to the point where it's like, you've peaked, you've got all you can from the sport, we're dipping a bit. Because we've lost 3 over the last 4. Yes, it's against elite competition. You've been finished twice brutally in your last 2. Is it the end of the end for him? As for his opposition, Diego Lopes is one of the most craziest fighters in the UFC at the moment. You know, he fought on the Dana White Contender Series, but he failed to get the win and get the contract, where at UFC 288, Movsar Evloev was supposed to be having a fight. I think it was against Brian Ortega, I want to say, or someone of the such. And then he goes, okay, I'll jump in on short notice, where he took the fight on short notice, where they went to war. He went to war with Movsar Evloev, and he showed, yo, look, I'm game. I can hang with one of the best featherweights in the world, and I am one of the best fighters in the world in the featherweight division. And they had a brilliant back and forth bout where Movsar did win the decision, but Diego showed he can hang with the best of the division. Since then, he's put on an exciting streak of wins, 5 in a row. He's beat Gavin Tucker via submission and armbar, KO'd Pat Sabatini, KO'd Sadiq Youssef, beat Danny Ige in a short notice bout for himself, where Brian Ortega pulled out and Danny Ige took the fight on a few hours' notice, and then beat Brian Ortega at this Sphere. Not as good as the record of in the UFC as Alex Volkanovski. This is, what's his name? Diego Lopes on the come up. But this is Diego Lopes with all the momentum, all the hype behind him. When you look, he debuted in May 6, 2023. It's about to be, it's April 2025. It's just under 2 years he's been fighting, and he's fighting for a world title against an aged, past his prime, Alex Volkanovski. How do I think this fight's going to go? For some reason, and I said it on my preview, I said I've got it 55 for Diego Lopes. For some reason, I just see Diego Lopes clipping him and putting him away. And I hate to say this because I'm a huge fan of Alex Volkanovski, and I want him to put on a brilliant showing. I just think he's so big, he's so chaotic, he's so crazy in there. When you look at Volkanovski's reign, it's fantastic. But look at the firepower during his reign and during his come up. Let's look at the firepower coming the other way. So Chad Mendes had brilliant power. Don't get me wrong, but that was Chad Mendes at the end of his career. Darren Elkins, again, end of his career, but not really crazy power that we've known him to have. Then he fought Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo, brilliant finisher, but he was past his prime. And again, he's not like that brutal one-hitter quitter that he was in the WEC. Max Holloway, volume striker. Max Holloway again, volume striker. Brian Ortega, not really much power coming the other way. Submission threat. Yeah, he's knocked out Frankie Edgar here and there, but it was the perfect punch. But really, he's not really fast twitch. He's not really explosive. Not much power coming the other way. Korean Zombie. Yeah, he has some KOs, but again, not fast twitch, not explosive. Max Holloway, same thing. Then he comes up against Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev and him go to war, but that was Alex Volkanovski acclimatized at 155. He put on the weight, put on the size, and he was ready in game to go in there with Islam Makhachev. Islam had some success on the feet. Alex Volkanovski had some success on the feet. Yair Rodriguez faced him again on the feet. Yair Rodriguez, amazing KOs, done XYZ, but again, he doesn't really have much power. He's got explosivity in his kicks, but his KOs more come from perfect technique. Then you go against Islam Makhachev again on short notice as a 145er going up to 155. Gets head kicked brutally. Perfect technique by Islam Makhachev. He was going low, went high, clipped him up, and then Alex Volkanovski's world is spinning and he lands the TKO and he's done him. And I've said this, and I said this on a recent video and I can't remember. I may have said it on my keys to victory. When you've been KO'd once, it's in my mind, you're just susceptible to being KO again. Especially when you're like this undefeated, undisputed, kind of one of the best ever, you know. And he got KO'd again brutally by Ilia Topuria. You know, one of the names Alex Volkanovski never fought in the featherweight division coming up was Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett's a similar build, similar size to Alex Volkanovski, and I feel like Alex Volkanovski in his prime would have beaten a prime Josh Emmett, probably beaten 4-1 in a close competitive bout on the feet, because Volkanovski on the feet is a supremely talented kickboxer. But if Josh Emmett landed, I feel like he could have put Alex Volkanovski out. I don't know if this is a crazy take, but when Ilia Topuria came up, who knows how to box, who knows how to put all his weight behind his punches, when he landed on Volk's chin, he put him out. And yeah, that was Volk coming off a 4 months ago prior KO loss, but still, Diego Lopes has heavy hands. He's got heavy hands, he's got heavy power, he's got mad amount of explosivity, and he's a nutter. And I just feel like in those first 2 rounds, he's going to be so explosive, so fast against him. When you look at that recent run-in for Alexander Volkanovski, who is as fast and explosive? None of them, bar Ilia Topuria, no one's as fast and is explosive as Diego Lopes, which is going to catch Alexander Volkanovski off guard. He's a slow starter, is Alexander Volkanovski. He does his better work in the second, third, fourth, fifth round. Islam Makhachev fight, he was the best in the 5th round. He won the 5th round. You got the Max Holloway second fight. He won the 3rd, 4th and 5th, which won him the fight. He lost the first 2 rounds. You go in the Yair Rodriguez fight. Yair Rodriguez, yeah, he won all 3 rounds, but Rodriguez was having more success in the first 2 rounds, and then the 3rd round, okay, Alexander Volkanovski's getting better in the fight. He gets better as the fight goes on. He's not KOing. He can KO people, but it's not going to be a flatline KO. He's more TKOing guys. Whereas Diego Lopes, once he rocks you, he's got brilliant finishing instincts. He'll jump down, follow you, and smash you with ground and pound, or he can follow you down and get a submission, which is what I think is going to happen. I think these two are going to exchange on the feet a lot. I think the one thing that's going to happen is Volk's going to want to fight at range, and Diego's just going to jump in explosively and close the range and throw hooks. Alex will trade with the hooks, but it's just not worth it for him because he's going to get clipped. He's going to get clipped. He's going to get wobbled. And I just see it. He's going to get rocked and he's going to get finished. And I hate to say it because I want Volk to have his moment. I want him to get one more fight night in Australia. I want him to get the love from the fans and the appreciation of the fans. He is a legend of mixed martial arts, is Alex Volkanovski. It's sad to see him decline, because he's such a legend. He's such a good guy. You know, when you look at some of the greats in the sport and they've got tainted legacies, bro, this guy does not have a tainted legacy. He went up and fought Islam Makhachev. He gave us pound for pound number 1 versus pound for pound number 2. He done so much for the featherweight division. The Max Holloway trilogy, that 3rd fight against Max Holloway, one of the best performances in MMA history. But for some reason in my head, I just see them getting into a wild exchange on the feet in the early rounds, in the 1st round or the 2nd round. Diego's going to clip him. Diego's going to drop him. And he's just going to smash him on the ground and it's done for. And I just hate it because I think Alex is a legend. But I just think Diego's too big. He's too explosive and he's too careless. And I just think the firepower coming the other way from Alex Volkanovski isn't enough to deter someone like Diego Lopes. And then when it comes to the grappling, Volkanovski can smother him a bit. Diego's mental. He'll go for heel hooks and he'll reverse positions and scramble. He's just too crazy, I think, and he's too reckless. And he's a big guy. He's young. He's got nothing to lose, all to gain. Just go for it. And he's a fan favorite regardless, win or lose. This means a lot to Alex Volkanovski. Does this fight? There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot on the line. You know, there's a lot going on. You know, in his personal life. 4th kid. Do I want to keep doing this? He said, I maybe got 1 or 2 more left in me. Is he already thinking out the door when Diego Lopes is already thinking this is my time to rule over this division? It's just so much going on. If this was someone like Movsar Evloev, I'd say Alex actually has a better chance. Movsar smothers him for 5 rounds. But there's a KO factor, there's a finishing potential which Diego has, which frightens me because when you look at Alex Volkanovski's running, He's fought all these killers at featherweight, but none of them had explosive KO power or KO ability on heavy hands like Diego Lopes. Diego Lopes is big and he throws everything behind his shots. And I just think he's going to clip Alexander Volkanovski and put him out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If I'm wrong, I'm happily proved wrong. If I'm right, I'm proved right. I don't mind either guy winning. I like both guys. I think they're both fan-friendly, exciting guys, irregardless. It's just sad one of them's going to have to lose, but it's going to make an exciting main event in Miami. I can't wait for it. Great card, UFC 314. Amazing night of fights I'm hoping for. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think Alexander Volkanovski can win the vacant featherweight title, or do you think it's Diego Lopes' time to take over and reign over the division? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Leave a like if you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more MMA and fight content coming soon. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you in the next one.